It's time to do it for the vine, Xiibyte.
I'm not gonna do it.
Duelist, the tormentor!
Yo, what's the deal? It's your boy Xiibyte, and I'm back with more Yu-Gi-Oh, man. And last video was basically a review on the game, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Today, I'm going to unveil the Dragons and Nightmares deck. Now, I guess you can call this deck the first edition, simply because the deck changes. You know, it's gonna change from the more people that I find to buy cards from, as well as when I'm going into different series, and also from cards that I am just given from battles that I win. So basically there's going to be like multiple variations, but there's different iterations of it. Like I'll have a story mode deck, then I have like a deck that I'll take online, and maybe a slight variation of that one. The reason I have two different decks is because there are cards that I have in my deck that is forbidden to be used online. So I think that's pretty cool that they innovated that into the game. So this particular deck, I am the owner of this deck, and basically it's Dragons and Fiends. Those are the particular cards that I like, and those are the cards that really interest me, especially with the art and the things that they bring to the table. So before I get into it, basically I will have another video where I kind of break down on how to make, you know, a decent deck, or how to get started with deck creations. But this deck started off poorly, and then the more I played, the more I learned, the more I got cards and had cards used upon me, is when I went on and said, okay, I can use some of these cards and I know how to make a deck. So let's get into it. So looking over into the deck, I have 6 normal cards, I have 4 effect cards, I have 2 tuner cards or synchro monsters, I have 12 spell cards, and I have 8 trap cards. All those are located and determined by the little bar that's right here on the side that says 6, 14, 12, 12, 2, 12, and 8. So it breaks it down for you if you ever say, okay, instead of going, you know, trying to count your cards, which is what I was doing, you know, it pretty much breaks it down for you right there. Right here in my side deck, I'm gonna get to this first. Basically, these are the toon monsters that I have unlocked so far. Because whenever I go to implement Toon World into the deck, you know, I have this on the side for like matches. When matches allow you to say, well, hey, adjust your card, adjust your deck based on how the other player was playing, you can use the side deck. There's also Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is still here. The reason I have it on the side, because I don't want to forget about it. Whenever I have 2 more Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons, I'm sorry, Blue Eyes White Dragons, I'll go on and add it into my deck. This particular card right here was Soul Exchange, and basically you have to target one monster that the other opponent controls, and then you can use that monster to summon another monster on your field. So let's hypothetically, if you wanted to summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can summon Blue Eyes White Dragon by having 1 card on your field, and you can take his other card from the other field. The drawback from that is basically that you can't attack with that card, if I'm not mistaken. Or actually, you can't conduct your battle phase at all if you play that card. So be mindful if you're thinking about using it to say, okay, well, I'm going to take his card off the field and I'm just going to attack him direct. He's going to be able to place another card on the field because it has to skip. So here we go. Flamvell Guard. Now, I messed up when I put this card in my deck. I have 2 of them. The reason why I went on to put these 2 in here, because I forgot how tuners actually work. This is a tuner card. It's a dragon tuner card, which is good if I want to activate either Azure Eye Silver Dragon or Blood Mephisto. Come back to these. Basically, I went on and got this particular card because, you know, it's a tuner card. It has good defense. Bad part about it is that it has great defense, but if you're trying to use it for a tuner card, you're most likely going to have about 3 or 4 more cards on the field before you can actually use it. Reason being is because it's a 1-star card. So basically, if I wanted to summon any one of these, I would need to at least have a 5-star card and a 4-star card, or 2 4-star cards with this one. Moving forward, before I move forward, let me just say that these are here simply because their defense is still up. Once I unlock some better tuner cards, that's dragons, because I have other tuner cards, but I just want dragon tuner cards, then I'll go on and flip that around. But moving forward, the next card is Copycat, and this is a 1-star card as well. Reason why I got this card, and this card been in my deck for quite some time, is basically you can use this card, and if you summon it face up, you can basically target the a card on the other field. So hypothetically, if your opponent has Summoned Skull and you don't have anything strong enough, but you have this Copycat, you can play Copycat and you can mirror him. Basically, at that point, you can use him to destroy that card, and if you have another card, then you can attack, or you can just have him sitting there as like, you know, in a stalemate until you get something better. But keep in mind, if you get something better, or if you get another card and you just lay it there, chances are his Summoned Skull will attack that face down defense card that you have, and if it's weak, it's gone. So it's kind of like, if you're going to use Copycat, you need to make sure that you're knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into. Also, a drawback from Copycat that I've learned is basically, if you use this particular card, if there's like effects in play on the field, you do not take advantage of that, because your card will basically, Copycat will take the attack and defense of the card. It will not take the attack, defense, type, and attribute. So hypothetically, if he has a Summoned Skull, that's a Fiend. If you have Fiend plays in effect, you will take Summoned Skull's original attack, which I believe is 2500. But if he has other spells or effects on the field that basically buffs him up, you will not take advantage of that, and you will still lose that battle. So keep that in mind. Moving forward, this is Grave Squirmer. And basically, if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field and destroy that target. I like this card because this card basically, it doesn't have an attack and defense, so technically you're only supposed to use it in defense mode face down. Good reason why I wanted to use this card is basically because it can target any card, not just a monster. So if there's a spell card in effect, like Swords of Revealing Light, and let's say he just wants to take this card off. Basically, I can use this card, he kills it, send it to the graveyard, I can basically remove his Swords of Revealing Light. So this card is very handy, and it's dark, and it's Fiend. Let me take a sip, y'all, real quick. Raspberry iced tea. All right, this card is basically the White Stone of Legend. I got this card in my deck simply because I own one Blue Eyes White Dragon. If I play this card face down defense, and let's say he attacks it, or even if I just leave it open for attack, I can basically use this as Monster Reborn and bring one Blue Eyes White Dragon from my deck into my hand. This card is not effective if I already have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in my hand. So this is for like those moments where it's like, yo, I really need to get the Blue Eyes, but I have this. Bam. Also, it is a tuner card as well, but it's a 1-star tuner card. So basically I have 3 stars right now as far as tuner cards are concerned. Next one is Maneater Bug, and I got this card, I believe, from beating Weevil Underwood. You know, a little short run about yay high and got glasses, you know, bowl cut. But anyway, I like this card, and it's an insect card, I know, but I can't get rid of it because if I play this card in face down defense mode, basically I can target one monster on the field and destroy that target. So it's pretty cool. I can take the hit with no battle points inflicted or battle damage inflicted, and I can knock out the same card that killed me, especially if it's already strong. So this is a good way to stop people who are just overpowering and just say, hey, I'm a monster, I'm just a savage, and I'm gonna kill any card you put down. This is a way to stop that. Also, a card for honorable mention I had was Blast Spear, if I'm not mistaken. Bandit Keith likes to use it since it's a machine monster, but basically they can attack it and it goes into the spell phase or spell part of the field, and then on the next turn whatever card that killed them is destroyed. Keep in mind, if you use that card, you don't want to attack. If you get a stronger monster on the field, you don't want to attack that same card that you already singled out to be destroyed from the Blast Spear, because you will basically mess yourself up. That happened to me before, so I'm just letting you know. All right. Next is Clock Resonator. This is a Fiend monster, and it is a tuner card as well. This is a 3-star tuner card, so that's good. Reason why I got this one on the side from it, it's a Fiend card, is basically once per turn, this face-up defense position card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So basically, if this card is on the field and your opponent has one monster, this will be good because he cannot attack it. Well, he cannot destroy it. It doesn't say that you take battle damage, so I'm pretty sure you don't. But one bad part about this particular monster is that if he has 2 and he attacks it, then it's gone. So choose wisely when you're putting it on the field. Moving forward, trying to make this quick. Masked Dragon. This is basically another dragon monster, and I'll explain to you why I have so many dragon monsters when I get to one particular card. But when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one dragon monster within 1500 points or less, attack points or less, from your deck. So that's pretty cool if you're just trying to bide your time and this card gets destroyed, whether it's an attack or defense, then you can just send another monster right there on the field in its place. Hypothetically, you can keep sending this same monster back, similar to like those zombie monsters that's in the game as well. Darkblade and man, I forgot the name of the other ones. Darkblade and Black Dragon or something like that. Basically these two can go together, and that's why I kept it in my deck. But I really like this particular monster because not only is it a dark monster, it's not a fiend, but it's a warrior. I really like it because his attack and defense is like, it's real good, and he's a 4-star card. So if you play him, he's definitely going to come in handy, especially if you just need something to start off. So that's why he's in my deck. Normal monster as well. Next is the dragon dwelling in the cave. Reason why I have this card, and at one point I had 2 of these cards, but I have it because basically it's just a regular dragon, and his defense points are high, so similar to the mystical elf, which is a level 4 as well, with 2000 defense points. There's a reason why this card is in my deck as well, and I'm gonna get to it, y'all. Watch. Big Eye. Basically I don't really like this card because it doesn't really do me any good, but it always comes in handy when I know I'm in a bind and I'm not getting the cards that I want. I can basically use this card, kill it off purposely, by putting it into the way of the opponent, and look at the top 5 cards on my deck and put them in whichever order so I can summon them. That definitely helps because I can say, okay, well, hey, I want this to come out, I want this to come out. By this time, I already have my plan in effect. Bam. That's pretty cool. Next will be Breaker, the Magical Warrior. If this card is normal, if this card is normal summoned, place 1 spell counter on it. Now it only gets 1 spell counter, so basically you only get 1 every time you summon it. But what you can do with that spell counter, you can either boost your attack to 300, which basically makes it 1900, or you can remove 1 spell counter from it and take 1 spell or trap card that your other opponent has on the field and destroy it. That's pretty awesome, and that's why I have it. Golem Dragon, I have 2 of these. Reason why is because basically your opponent cannot target, I'm saying it again, your opponent cannot target any face-up dragon monsters for attack except this one. That's really good. Now its defense points is 2000, so of course if the monster is higher than 2000, so be it. But reason why this comes into effect and is very handy is because even though it has 2000 defense, if this card is on the field, you can't attack any of my other dragons. You can't attack this Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can't attack the Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. You can't attack those. And it's pretty cool because it can save your big hitter. It can really save it. Even if this card is on the field for 1 turn and it gets destroyed, it still saved you enough to maybe pull something out of the hat with your next draw. Moving forward, Lord of D. And I'm pretty sure that's Lord of the dragons. There's basically dragon type monsters on the field cannot be targeted by card effects. So if you have the Golem Dragon and Lord of D on there, basically any effects that's given by a card, whether it's like cards that say, well, hey, I'm gonna turn them into defense mode from attack mode, or you can't move, Spellbinding Circle, or Swords Revealing Light. Card effects that targets your dragons won't be affected. So if you have this in play along with that, pretty much your dragon deck is already unstoppable. But there's more. Time's running out. All right, Summon Skull. Summon Skull is basically one of the Yu-Gi-Oh originals, and it's definitely a card that I really liked because when Yu-Gi-Oh summons it, it's just amazing and it's so commanding. But this card is just in my deck because it really helps me in the bind. And if I had my red eyes, then I can summon Black Skull Dragon, but I don't. But I really like to summon Skull because it's a fiend, it's an arch fiend, and it really comes in handy. Now, this card is the reason why all my other cards are so amazing, even Summon Skull. Now, hypothetically, I summon Skull, right? Summon Skull is 2500 attack points. If I summon this card in its place, if I just summon Skull and on the next turn this card comes out and I place that on its place, basically the Great Maju Garzett, The attack of this card becomes twice the original attack of one monster that you tributed for this tribute summon, and it only accepts one monster to tribute. Basically, in place of this summon Skull, this card will have 50, not 50. Ooh, that was about to be dramatic. This card will have 5,000 attack points. 5,000. That's incredible. And it's not even a monster that requires 2 summons. And it's not even a ritual monster. This is just a regular effect monster. Definitely necessary in any deck. And then you have the Sword Hunter. Never really got a chance to use this card because it never really comes out, but I know it's going to help me. Basically, at the end of the battle phase, if this card is destroyed, and if this card destroys any monsters and it goes to the graveyard, those monsters basically become an equip of this particular character, and he gains attack points, 200 for every card that was destroyed. So I think that's really good. And any cards that was sent to the graveyard, if I'm not mistaken, equip all those monsters from the graveyard to this card as these equip spell cards. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Moving on, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, Blue Eyes White Dragon, there's many different ways that I can summon this particular monster, and there's many different ways that I can protect this monster. One of them was, like I said, was from the little card that we had up front, which was called the White Stone of Legend. But another good way to summon this particular monster is with Ancient Rules. Now, summon one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. This is like between Summon Skull and Blue Eyes White Dragon. Those are the only 2 normal monsters that I have in my deck. So this would be good if this card was in my hand and I don't have any monsters. I don't want to sacrifice any monsters to summon. I can use Ancient Rules. Now, technically, I did just skip over one card, but I just had to let that be known why I have Blue Eyes. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is my baby. This is my dragon, like for real, for real. Basically, you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one dragon type monster you control. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 dragon monsters. Technically 7 if you don't want to include my Blue Eyes. 7 dragon monsters. So that's 7 times the odds of me being able to summon this card if it's in my hand and I have dragons on the field. So this card goes hand in hand with my whole deck. And basically, once per turn, let's see if I'm saying this right. Once per turn, you can special summon one dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard, except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Alright, so let's say this. If I banish this dragon right here, the dragon dwelling in the cave, but I have dragons that got killed off in my graveyard, like the Blue Eyes or the Golems, I can bring them back on the same turn that I just activated this card. So I summon this card, bam, and let's say I summon it, Blue Eyes is in my graveyard. Bam, the whole tide is in my favor now because now this is on the field. Special summon the Blue Eyes right back. Now I got those 2 here. And let's say what if I didn't play Great Maju? Still tag them one of these on the next turn. So as far as like my monsters are concerned, I like to keep it at 20 monsters, whether it's normal or effect. 20 monsters. That's my rule of thumb or my golden key. 20 monsters. 20 monsters on the field, and then however many spell and trap cards. Bottom line. That's what makes it so effective. So moving on. Next we got Fissure. Now, this is one of the cards that I'd probably say you may want to have maybe between 1, 2, or 3 of these cards in your hand. The reason being is because like it just destroys one face-up monster that you control right then and there. It's one of those spells that you just play. And you can just do it and take a monster off the field and then, put the tide in your favor, bottom line. This card right here, I had this card used on me in the campaign, and I've been a fan of it ever since. Basically, this card allows you to basically screw your opponent, and it's not a forbidden card. So unless your opponent sends one card from the top of his or her deck to the graveyard, she cannot declare an attack. So let's say a person was waiting on this one card. Would they chance it and declare an attack or risk losing the card that they want? These are the options that's weighed in their favor. Now this card really isn't as effective as you think, because bottom line, if you already got like your cards on the play, what is this gonna do to you? You already have everything you need. But this card will do something to you if cards like Mirror Force or cards like Fissure is used, because now any other opportunity you have for rebuttal or like a second win, it's gone. Next card is going to be Harpy's Feather Duster. Now this is a forbidden card, but it's in my story deck. That's why I have too many different variations of my deck, because some cards are just not allowed. But this card basically destroys all spells and trap cards that your opponent controls. Definitely a plus. Next card is Heart of the Underdog. Now everybody know that Yu-Gi-Oh used this Yugi used this card with Kaiba in the first battle to summon Exodia. Why am I so tongue twisted today, y'all? So this card definitely helps, because basically when you draw a normal monster, you can reveal it and draw one more. How does that really help me? It really doesn't, because like I said, I have 6 normal monsters compared to 14. So the good thing about it is that if you get this card and you draw a normal monster, chances are you can get a free draw and maybe pull out something like this. So that's why I still have it in my deck. Monster Reborn, we already discussed how basically I can special summon certain monsters back in place of Monster Reborn. Well, I just still have this card in my deck, and it's forbidden, but basically I have it because, let's say if I'm able to kill off an opponent's buffed up Summon Skull, I can basically bring his Summon Skull back on my side of the field, so that's a plus. This right here is Mystic Plasma Zone, and this is basically an increased all attack increase all dark monsters attacks by 500 points and decrease them by 400 points. Why am I so tongue twisted? But anyway, I have this card because most of my deck is consisted of dark monsters. It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because it boosts yours, but if you're going up against somebody else who has a dark monster, and let's say they have a Summon Skull, now I know I keep going back to Summon Skull, but I'm just saying, then chances are you're still going to lose that battle because you just buffed his up as well, on top of the buffs that he probably already have. So it's a gift and a curse. Pot of Greed definitely is worth it. I like this over Graceful Charity because I like Graceful Charity that you can draw 3 cards but send back 2. But I may draw 3 cards that I really need, and I have to send back 2 of them. So Pot of Greed is real good because I can just draw 2 cards and that's it. Raigeki, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. This basically destroys all monsters that your opponent controls. Similar to Mirror Force, except that you don't have to wait to be attacked. You can just do it. Silver's Cry, this basically targets 1 dragon monster in your graveyard, and you can special summon it, but you can only activate it once per turn. So basically this is a continuous card, similar to Gravekeeper's Servant. So basically, man, all dragons that I've done, got killed off, I can bring all of them back. So looking forward with Summoner's Arts, this basically adds 1 level 5 or higher monster from your deck to your hand. So this is real good because if I play this, then I can just go on and get my Blue Eyes or my Summon right there already in my hand. Now, Swords of Revealing Light. Basically this, you already know what this does, man. It flips all your opponent's monsters face up, and then they can't attack for 3 turns. This is definitely good if you're trying to bide your time, or you basically just don't want the opponent to attack while you build up a stronger play. This is good. But keep in mind that he can play other, cards that can whisk this away, and then it's like, okay, well, dang, that was a waste. Next card is basically Call of the Haunted. Basically, this will allow you to take 1 monster in your graveyard, summon it in an attack position, and basically if the opponent does one of these dust tornadoes and take your card off the field, the card that you brought back can be killed. Or if the card, if the opponent kills off the card that you brought back, then this card leaves the field as well. So it's continuous as long as those 2 stipulations are fulfilled. Dust Tornado basically targets 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then you can set 1 from your hand right then and there in the same play. So that's pretty cool. Judgment of Anubis, and I just added this to my deck. Basically what this does is that when your opponent activates a spell card that would normally destroy your spell or trap cards on the field, you can discard 1 card from your hand and negate the activation. And if you do, then you can destroy 1 of the opponent's monsters. And then if you do that, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field. In layman's terms, opponent activates Dust Tornado. I can use this and counter that. I can say, hey, but wait, I'll take one card out my hand. I'll take my my Copycat and just destroy him, discard him. Now I negated your whole activation, but now in place of my Copycat, since I lost my Copycat, I'm gonna make you lose a card, and I can make you lose whatever card that I want on your field that's, you know, a monster. Then if I destroy that monster, whatever that monster's attack gets deducted out your battle points. So basically the way it works is that I get rid of my Copycat, but you still got Sword Hunt on the field. I can take 2,450 attack points and basically deduct it from your life points with this card. Kunai with Chain. Everybody know this is Joey Willis. Kunai with Chain. This basically is a trap card, and you can activate one or both of the effects that this thing has. Basically, one effect is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target that monster and change it to defense position. Second is you can target one face-up monster that I control, and I can equip this card to it and basically up it by 500 points. So if you're on the defense, the first stipulation will work for you. If you are on the attack, and let's say you have Red Eyes Darkness and he has a Blue Eyes, you don't have enough points, you can use Kunai with Chain, buff it up, kill the Blue Eyes, as well as deduct, I think, 200 more battle points away from the opponent's life points. This one, I don't know how to pronounce this word, but I think it's called Michazur or Mikazuri or something like that. Basically, whenever an opponent kills, or I keep saying kill, destroy your monsters on the field, you can basically open up a black hole and just pull them down with you. So if I have my Copycat and it gets killed, then I can use this card and kill the card that killed me, especially if it's a stronger card. So that's definitely good to have in your deck when you're going up against people who I said like to overpower you and just overbearing and just all play for power. This is how you can make them fail. Then I have two Mirror Forces. Why? Because, man, people be cheating. And this is good because, man, they have like the whole, they got the forces on deck. And I just pop off and like, okay, hit me. Go ahead, hit me. Come on, hit me. Mirror Force. They're all gone. Every single monster, no matter the attack, whatever. Every monster's gone. And if I still have monsters on the field, bro, you open to an attack. So if you ain't got nothing to combat or to protect yourself, as far as like, okay, well, he did that. Well, let me play Swords of Revealing Light or something like that. You know, if you ain't got nothing to protect yourself, you're gone. Now, this card, basically, an opponent online used it on me, and then probably like maybe 6 battles later in campaign, I ended up getting this card and this Robin Goblin. I don't really need it, but I do. Basically, each time that you inflict battle damage to your opponent discards one random card. And if I'm not mistaken, battle damage simply means, you know, when you're direct hits, they can just destroy, you know, discard one card. And it's really good, especially if you're going up with people who just play for a certain, you know, style. It can really disrupt their whole flow if you can just get one random card out, because most likely that one random card is the card that they really needed. Moving forward, you have Blood Mephisto, and the reason why I got this card in my deck was simply because my character is Nightmare. He's a light person, but he's dark at the same time, and this pretty much reminds me of that. And also it's kind of voodoo-ish as well, and me being from New Orleans and stuff like that, it kind of like fits, especially as being the deck master of the, you know, Dragons and Nightmares deck. Basically, one tuner card plus one or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card your opponent controls. So if they have the forces lined up, man, that's what, 5? So that's 3 times 5 points that you can inflict direct battle damage. And each time your opponent sets a spell or trap card, you can inflict 300 damage on that as well. So that's definitely very nightmarish. And then you have the Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. One tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. Basically, when this card is special summoned, dragon type monsters you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. So if I'm not mistaken, that just basically means that you know, after a turn and a half, then it can, you know, be attacked. But once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon that monster. That's the main reason why I got that particular dragon. It wasn't because of the first part, because I don't even quite understand it fully, but I know it's going to be beneficial. But that's the main reason why I have that one in my deck. And it's also appealing and funny that the spec switched from the Blue Eyes White Dragon, as it has 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense. This monster has 2,500 attack and 3,000 defense, so I thought that was pretty cool. And these two are basically my deck masters. And this is basically nightmares and dragons. So my deck really had like a lot of thought put into it, and like I said, it's going to continue to change once I find other cards that's really going to be more essential to my style of play. But yo, that's pretty much the dragons and nightmares deck. Next video, I guess I'll go on and try to talk to you all about exactly how to create your own deck and, you know, make it efficient and all that good stuff as well. For now, if you enjoyed this video, go on and kindly hit that like button, and then also subscribe if you like. Also, if you want to get yourself one of these Xiibyte shirts, basically head over to the Xiibyte gear shop, and I'll have a link in the description. Also, you can get it from my channel profile on YouTube. I'm definitely going to be back with more Yu-Gi-Oh, so don't think this is it. Most likely going to have like some campaign battles, you know, just basically going through the whole battle and stuff like that. So for now, man, that's all I got. Dragons and Nightmares. If you want to know all the cards that's in this particular deck, I'll have it in the description as well, so you can create my deck. That being said, it's your boy 12. Make sure you keep it locked right here on the Xiibyte Network, you heard, man? Need some help on creating the perfect Yu-Gi-Oh deck for you? Well, check out my how-to video. Or maybe you still on the fences on buying the game. Just do it, mother. Or just watch a random video.